Hi, I'm LaWanna Bradford, and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. Often, when we're here having a conversation, we focus on the business, the processes, the analytics, the money. But you know what we have at the center of all of that is humanity, it's people. And it's about relationships and connections. And no matter what, we know that money is all about the movements of goods and services, but you can't move goods and services if you don't have someone on the other end to receive it. If you don't have someone on the other end to help them understand what it is that you have, how you solve problems. If you don't have people on the other end coming together through a business lens or a financial lens to help build sustainable communities, to build legacy for the future generation. So coming up next, I have a very special guest who will be joining us, none other than Tamara L. Hunter, and we are going to talk about how humanity is, quote unquote, possibly at risk because we are misplacing our focus. So we'll be back in just a moment with none other than Tamara L. Hunter. How's it going, Tamara?
It's going fabulous. I'm so happy to be with you and have some raw talk about this subject.
Yes. Well, thank you for saying yes. I know you're very busy, but you weren't too busy to pause and say, yeah, we need to dig into this a little bit. I want to tell the audience a little bit about you. Tamara comes from corporate, is a serial entrepreneur, a cancer survivor, a woman with a heart for people. She's also the co-founder of CB4L.org. That's ChemoBuddiesForLife.org. And we're going to get into that a little bit. And she also believes in community and what it means to support one another in community. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her as we go into this conversation, but we're going to pause right now, Tamara, and tell me, one of the things you talk about is the power of connection and why it's so important. You use the term, let me see if I can get your phrase correct, hope, healing through hope, hearts, hugs, and a whole lot of love. Is that right?
Whole lot of love. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. And all of the above. And thank you. Yes. Healing through connections with humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love. Yes. What does the touchy feely have anything to do with a serial entrepreneur? I love this discussion because everything, right? LaWanna, everything.
Yes.
Yes.
And, you know, one of the things, Tamara, I think about whether we're in business school, whether we're in the corporate landscape, entrepreneurial landscape, we talk about the human element of us and the skills that we need as soft skills. And I wonder why do we do that? Why do we deflect what makes us human as soft? And everything else is what we should be shooting for. Let's shoot for the technical knowledge and understand processes and innovation. Oh, and by the way, yeah, let's learn a little bit about emotional intelligence and human connections and empathy. But that's the soft thing. You know, that's not really important. What do you have to say about that?
A lot. For you to understand a little bit where I'm coming from, all of you out there, is that I come from a serial entrepreneurial family, generational entrepreneurial family. And I love to look at history because I do believe that the past does connect to today and will help us to go to tomorrow. That's why I'm thrilled about this topic. The question of the soft skills versus, and why is it that we think this way? I really do think, look at the past, look at the generational past in business, and you can understand why we didn't have the education that we do and how important it is. It's just like mental health. How many people, when you think of insurance, used to think, oh yeah, we have the insurance for health, and then we may have the rider for mental health. Well, isn't it that our brain is connected to the body? Is that a soft skill? Well, I don't know about that. It kind of like dictates where we're going, right? Well, when we think about business, let's look at it in a very, elementary school way. Business in the past, look at the history, it was get it done. We had the manufacturing age. We had, get it, think about the Model T, and then you go into all the history of business. Did they think about the human connection? Not necessarily, though they assumed they would be there to take care of the robotic piece of things. Well, now we understand how important intellectual and emotional intelligence is. And I come from the recruiter side of things in my past, and I come from a family that we had a trifecta. A labor law attorney. My mother was at a VP level in human resources for a Fortune 100 company. And then myself, I was considered a global headhunter, that I would go in and pluck people out of the environments that people didn't want to work for anymore, because those companies may have had an amazing product, an amazing service, whatever it may be, but they weren't aware of the fact that their commodity, truthfully, was their people. And they learned the hard way, because people like me would get in there and pluck their people out. And what does it do to the bottom line? It's a revenue situation. So today, where are we at? We're at a crossroads, LaWanna. We're at a crossroads that I think is exciting. Yet, something you said about, are we at risk right now? And I think if we don't open our eyes up, guys, we could be. Yet we are at one of the most exciting times in business, that if we understand the human piece of it, and then we employ and utilize our tools, oh, sky's the limit, right? How exciting is it? Yet the most important thing that I'm hoping anybody is going to take their notes and they're going to understand is that humanity matters. The connection matters of you and I, the humans.
No, I agree. I want to jump in. You said a lot of amazing points here, and I think I want to bring up the fear factor, because people are very, very afraid. As you mentioned, you start back, the agricultural age, or to the industrial, and you move on forward to the digital, and now we're AI, and people are concerned. What is this going to mean for me? And how do I show up with this advent of new technology and generative AI and synthetics and all of this? And what would you say, coming from a recruiter standpoint, because we know many jobs here in the U.S., individuals have been displaced for numerous reasons, some political, some for improvement of the bottom line. But this is not just something that's germane to the U.S. We're seeing it throughout the world. So what would you say to people today, putting on your recruiter hat, and how do we show up in times of change? How do we ready ourselves so that even though things are changing around us, we still position ourselves to remain relevant, to remain vital during uncertain markets?
Oh, that's a great loaded question. And I'm going to kind of take you through some elements and keep it simple here. Who has a cell phone? And are you afraid of it? Let's just go there. Well, I remember being in a meeting a couple of meetings. I'm going to take you through some history lessons here too. I remember being at a big conference, huge conference. It was all of the top people in the United States. And this, I think, was maybe in the 80s, possibly early 90s. And they had some imagery and some foreshadowing of what we were going to be experiencing coming. And I remember being a little freaked out myself, yet intrigued. What am I talking about? Well, do you remember the days, for those that have been around for a while, where there used to be a receptionist? And you can even go into some old movies where you see that they even plugged it in, and how did they answer the phone? A person answered the phone. Now, how many companies still have someone that it's not in some way automated? Not many, right? Are we afraid of that? No. Why? Because we see that it hasn't taken away. It actually has added to. Okay, let's go forward. I remember being in a circle with some of my other headhunter friends, if you will, and we voted, were we going to have a fax machine? A fax machine. Now, this is pre-computers. What's a fax machine? The whole concept. I was in Orange County, LA County, working at the time. Anybody know those freeways? I do. And I had just had to run from Orange County to LA County in that traffic to take a resume. Can you even imagine? But it was for a high level position. They needed it in hand. And the idea of having it some way magically go through the airwaves, a resume to another place. Now we don't think anything of it. Okay, that in a simplistic way is what we're looking at right now, guys. We can make our lives so much easier and not have to be sitting in that Southern California traffic to take a piece of paper of a resume. If I can, if anything, give you guys that imagery that, we don't think anything of it. In fact, I attach it on my phone these days, or I can do this or that. It's that simple. It's that simple. So I'm a huge movie person. I get it. There's been so many sci-fi movies that if we buy into some of those storylines, they can scare us. Well, I'm going to say, think of a cartoon. Think of flying cars and the Jetsons. Who's afraid of the Jetsons? Versus, yes, some of those other ones, need I say Terminator? Okay, it's a movie. Could it happen? If we, as the humans, understand this is a tool and that we don't lose the simple humanity of our lives, I think that we have the best age coming. Don't you agree, LaWanna? It's such an exciting time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And then I'm going to jump on the other side.
Please do. Yes.
So yes. With you, your background coming from the recruiter headhunter side of the house.
Yes.
With me getting out of college, and I did manpower staffing standards. So my first job as a statistician, we're going into where new technology is on the forefront. And we are assessing the model that once we put in this new technology, for example, I was working with fiber optics and satellite communications.
Okay.
What will this mean to the current processes and people doing the work?
Right.
So it's funny, we both use the term headhunters for our positions.
Mm-hmm.
Yours was a good headhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much, because we were looking at how can we cut, how can we maximize efficiency, lowering the cost, because we have this new technology that's going to maximize and optimize efficiency. However, it wasn't just let's trash and burn the people. It's okay, we've got this new technology. What do we need to do to retool you?
Right.
So those who are willing, it's like new technology opens up new opportunity. And I believe it was Mark Cuban who stated that those who will be, quote unquote, overtaken by AI isn't because AI has replaced you. It's because you haven't learned how to use your skill in alignment with AI, your gifts and talents in alignment with AI. And so again, that's, as you said, that's the human side of us. Mm-hmm. And what do we bring? How can it help enhance creativity? AI is going to and is touching every single industry.
Right.
But the funny thing to me, Tamara, is people are acting like it's brand new.
I know.
I'm like, it's been around for about 40 plus years.
Right. Right.
It's like ChatGPT made it mainstream, but it's like, but there's so much more robust AI behind almost everything we do.
Mm-hmm. I can attest to that because, again, I come from this background, and I actually, in my young days, I remember because I had a family member that was during the very beginning of personal computers. And do you guys, anybody that's been around or check into the history of it all? Before that, we had the big machines that you had to have the cooling rooms, and then you had the individual computers if you were lucky and being automized, and a lot of those were maybe businesses that had something like what you were talking about, LaWanna, or some kind of large accounting, mortgage companies, and such things like a lot of the real estate development kind of companies that they needed a lot of number crunching, aerospace, a lot of these different industries had a component of the IBM type. Then you had going into it the personal, and people think of Apple versus, Microsoft and all of that. Well, in business, there was a lot more to it. And I want to simplify it again. Think of it this way. How many people learned to type on a standard typewriter? Maybe took it in school. And yes, I'm taking older, but you learned to type.
We're dating ourselves, Tamara.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm all right with it because it's for a reason. And then you had the electric typewriters. Ooh, that was exciting, but it wasn't connected to anything. It wasn't like the big room with the big IBM machines, right? Oh, but you had an electric typewriter and it was easier, and it maybe even looked a little more standardized on the sentence. And then you had Word Perfect, not even Word. You had Word Perfect and Symphony show up. Oh, we have software now attached to this. And then people are typing faster because I used to give the typing test, guys, and people are like, I used to be 30 words per minute. Now I'm up into the 60s into the hundreds. Okay, follow me, guys. Now we have the laptop age. Oh, now I can have business anywhere. I don't have to be attached to a business computer on my desk. I can take it with me anywhere. The laptop lifestyle. Entrepreneurs could, as long as you could tap into the internet, right? Now we're at the next level of it. It's not like it's new. It's just the next level. It's the tool. And so when I was let's laugh. Visualize this. When I was in that meeting way back in the day, we came out of it and they even had a image. They're like, can you imagine you're on the toilet and you have a phone there and you have your computer there and all of this stuff and you're doing it all at once? And people are like, no way. There's no way I would take any of my business into the bathroom. Okay, now, how many of you take this now? Right? Okay, now we don't think anything of these things, but way back in the day, that was like comical. No way. Now, we're going into that next step. The people way back in the day, they were saying to us then, think in terms of the fact that receptionists are no longer going to be needed. Where can we put them? Like you were talking, where can we train a receptionist? What would be a natural evolution for them? Because they're going to be obsolete at some point. Oh, no way that's going to happen. Well, okay, so now why should we be surprised? This is 40 years ago easily that meeting took place. We are in a day and age where the sky is the limit. What have you always wanted to do? What have you always wanted to do? And thought, oh, there's no way I can do it because I have to earn a living.
Let me jump in right there.
Okay.
Because you said, you're right, the sky is the limit. But now we are human.
Yeah.
And we like our stuff and things just the way it was. It was comfy for us. And now you're telling me I have to change it? I don't want to change. How many times have we heard, Tamara, people say, if we could just go back to the way things were, right? The good old days. Well,
right.
it's the world of business is changing so rapidly. The time period between each iteration of business, as you said, the evolution from agrarian to my mind, industrial, space age, digital, manufacturing, digital. You keep going, and now AI. The time period is shorter and shorter and shorter, and the speed of change is happening so fast that it's like, well, how can I keep up, right? And that's where I think if we're able to leverage these tools, kind of look at them as your little partners out there, helping you to assess, to process things faster. I was talking to my niece. She just finished her second year in college, and she had a statistics course. And she was like, "Oh, Auntie Juana, it was so hard." And I laughed. I said, "Really? With all the tools you had?" I said, "When I was going through college, we were doing stats longhand. And then if we had to run a model, it was doing all the typing on all the cards, taking our batch analysis, waiting till the next day to find out if the program ran or not." And I said, "And you're complaining?" I said, "You have no idea." Right?
Right. It's all relative. Okay, again, simplify it. Think in terms of this. Let's talk the Model T. I brought up Ford. Okay, so, we had horses before we had cars. Now, are horses obsolete? No, they're still around. They've evolved, and now it's maybe a hobby. It's something else. It's not like we have to get rid of something. They evolve into something that is more pleasurable, not necessarily, oh, I need my horse and so I can get to somewhere, to go get something. I have a car I can go into. At some point, it might be a flying car. Now, are we going to miss the days when we had to have tires and then it popped and then we had to put the new one on? Or, it's a matter of where are we coming from? And I'm not saying that you need to throw away everything. Keep what you like. Keep what you like. If you love what you're doing and it's going to change, what do you love about it? And keep some of that. Find a way to incorporate it into your personal life, because maybe you have a lot of time invested in it and such, and it can become something different. It doesn't have to go away completely, like the horse when it was replaced by the car. So now, where are you at and why are you threatened? And that is the greater question, because
Pause right there, because that goes into this next question. And then I want you to finish your thought.
Okay.
So, and I wrote this specifically. So this is a perfect pause. If AI becomes exponentially better at producing answers, which it is, what happens to our human capacity to ask meaningful questions, imagine possibility, and reason through uncertainty?
Oh, that is good. That is good. Okay. I am coming from Tamara right now. So guys, take it for what it is. Yet with my experience and what I have been in the business world, and my background is now kind of an interesting background in it. I had traditional business, then I went into the nonprofit space, then into, and into the entertainment space. So I've been in a lot of different. Now, when I was involved in the recruiting side, I then specialized. One of my specialties was technical recruiting back in the day. So the question of this, I want to go into the simplicity of it. Garbage in, garbage out. Understood? What are we feeding ourselves? When we start realizing that we can embrace the humanity, the human in us. We are human, and our possibilities are now that much more limitless. Before the computer and we wanted to learn, we needed to either have our own encyclopedia, we needed to go to the library, we needed to do activity to then be able to go to college, go to, whatever it may have been. Now at our fingertips, we are limitless in the possibilities. So then what it is we need to start connecting with ourselves and understanding and embracing that, you know what, I don't have to live in this little box anymore that I've been told I have to live within. Maybe it's because of the geographics. Maybe it's because of the family. Maybe it's because of a belief system. Whatever it is that you've subscribed to your little box. Even when you're watching us on a box. Now, do I live in a box? No, I live globally. Yet I live globally inside my little sphere. How do you do that? Well, it's because I don't believe in the box. I don't subscribe to that. So then I reach out in whatever that area is and say, okay, how can I best work with? And this is going to be evolution, guys. So understand today, the here and now. I go to AI and I say, AI, whatever one it is, this is the area of interest. And then I need to understand the human because I have the higher level thinking of a human. I embrace that. So then I ask AI, I want to know about this. Now, can you just ask it plainly like that? You can, but will you get the answer that you're really seeking? Maybe, maybe not. You need to understand that, again, is our ability to then say, okay, I am the master of my own universe, my own life. And my life now is limitless. And I have all of these tools. So if I spend a little bit of time learning how to work with them effectively, like I did whatever it is that I was doing before, I mastered that. I can master this too. And wow, that thing that I thought was impossible for me is now a possibility. So it's a matter of shifting our mindset, our heart, and our belief in ourself that, hey, I woke up today and it's a good day. Anything is possible. Let's do this, right? And yet I am going to challenge you all. As you're learning AI, I want you to balance it with the human. And that's the thing that when we were talking about the risk of losing humanity, we are studying this and we need to use it. Yes, the possibilities are endless. Yet, if we're always walking around like this and we're not looking like this at each other and acknowledging each other with a smile, with a how are you doing, putting our phone intentionally down and saying, I'm having a meal with you and I'm putting it on airplane mode. I want to ask you a question that I wouldn't typically ask because you know what? I care about you.
Let me say something, because what you just said, you talked about being in a box, but you're not in a box. And a box is limiting. A box is saying, this is the program that I've designed for you, and I'm setting you in it, and I want you to operate within it unless I choose to change and alter the program, i.e. AI, right? In the high stakes world of business and sports, time isn't just ticking, it's explosive. Where the elite forge their path, where champions and visionaries aren't just participating, they are leading. Welcome to the R3 system, your exclusive strategy in a world where the only constant is change. Refocus with clarity. Reframe with innovation. Reconnect to lead. R3 isn't just a plan, it's a revolution in strategy. This is the domain of achievers, on the field, in the marketplace, at the forefront of progress. With over 30 years of award-winning expertise in fields from defense, sports, finance, the Bradford Group knows victory. Their winning attitude and team power aren't just concepts. They are your strategic advantage. It is your time to stand out, to lead, to redefine success, make the decisive move, contact the Bradford Group, and embark on a journey that sets you apart. Don't just meet the future, shape it with the R3 system. Act now. your legacy awaits. What AI, I think what people are missing, and this is the part that gives me pause, honestly, Tamara,
Okay.
is individuals are forfeiting their individual creativity, original thought, reasoning, applying memory and lived experiences, and just throwing everything into AI and just seeing what it spits out. And like, that's not you.
Mm-mm.
You know, AI can't feel, right?
Right.
It's like I tested AI one time because I know some people are using AI for counseling and other things, and I get it. But I asked it, I said, well, I'm feeling this way. And what would you say to me? Because I said, I'm a Christian. And what would you say to me based upon your experience, your personal experience of God in your life? And AI said, oh, I can't answer that for you. I don't feel and experience things like you. However, and then it gave me, you know, again, logically, right? Think a spot. Logically, I can deduce A, B, C, and D, but it can't pull from its own lived experience, right? It can't express what it feels like when you say goodbye to a loved one. It can't experience pain, joy, everything that helps us to move and navigate through this life and respond and create and innovate, right? And be able to emote. It doesn't do that. But what concerns me, as I said, people who, it's like, let me just ask AI to do everything for me. And I'm like, even this one person I met, and I'm going to turn it over to you. I thought it was a little comical. This person had never written a book, ever. But this year, guess how many books they've written? And we are just in May.
I don't know, probably countless. Who knows?
30 books. 30 books. Remarkable. And
Right.
I said, and you really think that's credible? You've never written a book.
Right.
But
right.
all of a sudden, you have 30 books. You have this series on different facets of business. And I said, okay. And they were like, yes, I did write it. So this is what I did. I can be a little stinker at times.
Not you.
I invited them onto one of my shows, and we talked about their book, which was great. I mean, good context and a topic area. But then I asked them about a specific thing that they wrote in the book that was pretty profound. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, let me just grab this little random thing. It's something that really was like a cornerstone in one section of the book. And I got deer in headlights.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, now, where is that exactly? I'm like, page 162, paragraph. They actually sat and read it and then responded. And I thought, how sad.
Right.
How sad that we are willing to become lazy and possibly lose who we are divinely supposed to be because we're relying on technology. Technology will never be human.
No.
It will try to get consciousness, and we've talked about that before, but it's not human. Back to you.
And thank you for bringing that up. And a couple of things that came to my mind when you were talking about it. Number one, we need to understand it's a tool. Now, where is it going to evolve? I can't say. I really don't know. I do question that. However, today is what we're talking about, right? And I am a student of the past. So I am thinking, okay, right now it's a tool. Just go back with the horse and buggy, the horse and then the car. Well, how many miles could you travel by horse versus how many miles could you travel by car? Well, you have a lot more of a possibility to go where you want to go and farther in a shorter amount of time via car and possibly safer. Now, where are we at here? we are at a crossroads, and this is where we need to hold on to our humanity. And it was an excellent example of the book, or the books, multiple books. And let's go with that whole thing of writing. There for a while, they were trying to get rid of cursive. Why? I don't know. But it was taken out of school, and they were learning the printing. Then they realized, there's more to it than just the cursive. So, it's reintroducing it. It's a learned skill. Is it a skill from the past, the present, future? All of the above, because it's the eye-hand coordination. It's that creativity. It is something that ties us as humans to ourselves and to the message that we're sharing. I believe we need to use AI in a way like the car. We want to go farther. We want to do it safer. We want to get, be able to use our time wisely. Yet we've been driving it. We make the decision where it's going. It doesn't tell us where it's going. We decide where we're going. I want to go home. I'm originally from San Diego. I want to go home. I'm going to go home in the car. The car's not going to say, oh no, we're going up to Chicago right now. And then I end up in Chicago, and why am I here? We need to still be in control. I know that I have been utilizing some of the elements of the creativity of what's available out there, but do I rely on it completely? No. Is it surprising to people? Possibly, yes. But the fact that it's drawing, we have full lives. And when I was talking about now the possibilities are endless. You see, when I was young, I had this desire to write poetry. I wrote it all the time. And I even submitted it into magazines and newspapers. I became the editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper because I was so fascinated with writing and creative storytelling and such things. And I was in the bottom 10% of spelling. Let's be real. Okay. But I'm a recruiter. I can recruit people to edit what I was writing, right? Utilizing tools. So now it's the same thing. If we keep the desire of the human, and then we look at, okay, now I want to be creative and I want to utilize some of this so that I can enhance something I've always wanted to do. And now I can. What a possibility. Now, if we give it all away, we might end up in Chicago rather than San Diego.
Oh gosh, we're
Hi,
almost out.
I'm Nancy Matthews, creator of The One Philosophy and Be the One, the Elevation Experience. This is a 3-day experience where you're going to be taking on a journey from exactly where you are right now to the place where you're headed so that you get to that next level. And we make sure that you integrate and implement right there in the room so that come Monday morning, you are hitting the road feeling strong, powerful, and aligned with your vision and your future. At the event, you'll be surrounded by a group of visionary leaders just like you who are there to share their brilliance and their experience so we all continue to grow and prosper together. I have the most amazing speakers coming to fill every gap you need for marketing strategy, AI tools, being seen and recognized, getting the authority and credibility so that you are easily chosen and recognized as the one your ideal clients want to work with. At Be the One, you get to be the one to show up powerfully as your authentic self, standing in what you know to be true for you and supported by everyone else in the room. So what are you waiting for? You've heard about the event. Now is the time. Go ahead and get your ticket to Be the One.
We're almost out of time, but before we close, I just want to tell everyone who's joining us now that we are here with Tamara L. Hunter, serial entrepreneur, creative, masterful storyteller, an individual who really believes in the connection of humanity and how we can bring about healing through humor, hope, hearts, and a whole lot of love.
Hugs and a whole lot of love.
Hugs and a whole lot of love. And we are talking about how to hold on to our humanity in a digital world, understanding the tools that are among us that will always be. They are going to improve. Things are changing rapidly. Don't be afraid of change, because the one thing that is constant is change. However, you can be able to ride that wave of change, be in front of the wave, but not on the sidelines wondering, what is that, a wave? You don't want to be there, and because that will result in you being overtaken by the wave. So we don't want anyone to crash and burn. We want you to understand how you can initially survival float in this new environment, and then learn how to swim proficiently in your particular lane. And there's something that you've said throughout this, and I really want you to speak very candidly and seriously to the audience.
Okay.
When we talk about healing through connections, and we've gave numerous examples of how there's a fear factor, or people are so reliant and so dependent on AI that they are losing themselves in it. But with all of the AI conversations, companions, everything else that's going on, how can we, through your philosophy, preserve humanity, preserve that human connection without becoming emotionally efficient, but relationally deficient?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Take baby steps. I really want to encourage all of you to take baby steps. I said that I'm really into movies, and I think of What About Bob? He has a little goldfish in a mason jar that, they even tie him onto a boat. Baby step, baby step, baby step. Baby step it, because fear in itself will stop you. Keep it simple in that the humanity and connection, healing through connection sometimes starts with ourselves. It actually should start with ourselves. However, is it starting with yourself? And start concentrating there. Greet yourself in the morning. Do those things and feel good about them. Use your tools, and the extra time, because you use the tools of AI, put that investment into yourself and then into others. Baby step it. And then the healing through connection is also look at someone in the eye. Use AI, use the internet, because you know what? Oftentimes that's how we did it within the buddies, is that we would connect together throughout the world in a group where we could do it on camera. And you know what? It actually makes a difference. Yet don't rely on just that. Do the old-fashioned, make a phone call, do a text. Text, is that something that's more internet and AI-ish technical? It is, but it's part of our vernacular now. We don't think anything of it. So then that goes back to the baby steps. And if you're fearful, reach out to someone else, because you know what? That can also play tricks with us. And when we are not in alignment with ourselves, what I am really big about with all my missions all lead back to buddies. And that when we're out of alignment and our cells go cattywampus, sometimes we get diagnoses we don't want to hear. So how can we stop that? It's as simple as, again, what about Bob? Baby step it. Contact someone, talk to them, text them, look at yourself in the mirror and smile and say, I love you. I love me. Give someone a hug, virtual or in person. These are our humanity steps, baby steps. And when we remember these simple things, smile at someone, say thank you. That's huge. That frequency, that energy makes someone feel good. Actually, sincerely ask how someone is doing. Not be thinking about, oh, what am I going to answer them? Stop that. Take a moment, pause, and say, I really care about you, and I want to spend a few moments. Be willing to laugh together. That's huge too. That energy. Do you know that when you smile or when you laugh, that's something that you can fake it till you make it, and it actually has some good healing properties. We can take these baby steps, guys, and we can embrace the fact that today the possibilities are endless. I'm an example of it. I was diagnosed. I went through my treatment. I'm on the other side, and now I'm here talking with all of you. There's a lot of technology and AI and all that neat stuff involved in those steps. And let me be, if nothing else, look at myself or others and say, you know what? She did it. I can too. I'm a few days old, and we dated that. And yet I'm embracing and finding the fun, but I'm not losing who I am. And I've made a commitment to myself that I would, I have notes and files and everything. I do the old fashioned along with today's embracing today. Find what works for you and do it and feel good about it.
Yeah,
And
I like what you said about having fun, but know who you are. Don't lose yourself in it.
mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes that's a challenge. People are challenged with, I've got to find my purpose. I tell people, just be still and allow yourself to move and flow to where you're naturally compelled to go, right? Just allow that. Don't let people tell you where to go. Where do you naturally feel attracted to? Whether it's in your doing, in your being, in your connecting, right? It should be natural. It should be fluid. It should be forced. I'm going to say one thing, and I want to turn it over to you to close us out with some powerful words. We hear about customer service, right? Mm-hmm. And customer appreciation. And I've challenged people this month. I said, that's good. There should be customer appreciation and customer service. But have you ever thought about service appreciation? Have you ever turned around and thought, beyond saying thank you or beyond tipping someone, going a little beyond and telling them why I thank you, why they made your day so much better because of how they served you?
Oh, that's good.
Taking that full circle approach. Stop looking at always what is the world giving me, but how can you, in return to those who are of service to you, truly appreciate, love, and embrace them.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I want to continue that thought in the fact that we've made it acceptable to, what's in it for me, the WIFM, right? What's in it for me? And that ego-driven thing. I love what LaWanna was just sharing, because in truth, that's what's going to keep us human. When we think in that heart-centered way, and what did they do for you, and then go that extra step, that is something that I certainly hope that humanity never loses, because today is a day we are at the crossroads. And I believe that anything and all things are possible, yet we need to remember those simple skills of being human, because connection is a choice that we can all make. And then we can bring that human heart forward. We've got the extra time because we've got the tools to make the job thing, the outcome thing, that much faster, more efficient, maybe less expensive, whatever it may be. We can be more effective in our business life. What does that do? It frees us up to be more human and to share the love. And that is what is so exciting about it, because if we all concentrate and and we lock our arms together in the circle of humanity globally, the possibilities are truly endless. And it takes us all stepping up and being authentically us, be like water, go with the flow, take those baby steps, share a lot of humor, hope, heart hugs, and a whole lot of love. And there is healing through connections. And if you ever want to doubt it, or you want to, talk or something, contact me. You can find me. It's easy. I'm pretty easy. Yes, there it is. There's my website. And I'm on Facebook. Just messenger me and say you saw me on the show, because I love to talk to you. I'd love to say you are important, because each of us are important, and we sharing that little extra step, humanity is going to be in a very good place. And I'm excited about it for my children and my grandchildren. What about all of you? Will you join us? Will you join LaWanna? And will you join myself and all of the others that are out there saying there is healing through connection, and we can do this together because we are stronger together. Humanity, you know what? I see humanity it's in a good place, but it's going to take all of us to have it go forward in that good place. Don't give up. Don't live in that fear. If you're having, say, okay, today I'm fearful. I know, though, that if I reach out, I can get through this, because that's what connection's all about. Some days we may be up and some days we may not be. That's what we talk about at the Buddies, in the Buddies community, because it takes all of us to say, you know what, I'm going to hold your hand and we'll get through today. And you can cry on my shoulder. I'll cry with you. I may even cry because I need to. And then it feels great. And then we go forward.
I love that. This has been so great. Thank you, Tamara, for joining us. I hope you all just came away with a different perception when it comes to AI, the evolution of technology, what it means today, but also realizing what we collectively must do to ensure that we use these as tools, but never, ever, ever as a replacement for our humanity and for that human to human connection. And I'm going to leave you with something to think about. If AI, if technology is able to sound human, like it does, it's really good now, what will we as humans do to ensure we never, ever forget the feeling, the heartbeat of being human? So I want to, again, thank you so much, Tamara, for joining us on another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. To our audience, we appreciate you. And always remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.